Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you're here. Today we're going to have more fun with little EDC fixed blades. Before we get started, I want to take a quick second to shout out all my channel members. Thank you, thank you, thank you all for the support and your encouragement. And then I wanted to also invite any of you who might be new or might not have thought to subscribe yet. If you're so inclined, please hit that subscribe button below and that bell notification icon. I promise I'll keep trying to produce good EDC content and share my addiction with you guys. EDC fixed blades. My descent into the EDC fixed blade hole started right under a year ago, and it was when Kevin left the EDC, got his first chickadee, and I was instantly enthralled because Kevin influences me to do crazy shit. But I really liked the chickadee. However, I didn't want to spend $250 on a chickadee. I wanted to see if I would even utilize EDC knife. See, in my right pocket, I carry my primary carry. Today is the Chavez Street. And in my left pocket, I carry a slip joint. Today is the Lion Steel Best Man. So when I carry my EDC fixed blade, the small ones, I typically will carry appendix or in my back pocket or possibly in my left pocket if I choose to forego the slip joint. But the first one that I can't look over because it's the first one that came into my collection that gave me the, or I should blame this one for green lighting me to the fact that I would indeed utilize a very small chickadee sized fixed blade. And then the quest became, how many fixed blades will I have to go through to find the one or ones that are perfect? And we all know that answer. The answer is you will never go through enough to find the one that's perfect because the perfect one doesn't exist, stupid. You're an addict, you should know better and just buy a few and then stop there. But I don't have sense. And this is the TwoSun TS150. This is a super cool little long design, fixed blade, an S90V, guys. This thing cost 45 bucks. So yeah, it's a small knife. It is 4.5 inches. So it's smaller than the chickadee, but it came with this Kydex sheath. I put half of an $11 set of straps on here because it just needs a single strap. And after my 10% Javon 10 discount, this knife cost me somewhere right around $40 to get my feet wet to see if this was something I would use. How would it fit into my daily carry? Would it be obtrusive? Would it be bothersome to carry? And with this particular one, I decided it didn't and it wouldn't. And I really, really like this knife. So this is the TwoSun TS150. And guys, I've got several TwoSuns in here. I won't know the numbers on. I'll try to put them in the descriptions. The second knife that I picked up was actually the next day because it was in stock. All of these have come from White Mountain Knives, all the TwoSuns. But this is the TwoSun TS247, I want to say. And it's a little bit bigger, the reason I got it. A, it had a different looking blade, but it was a little bit longer, more in line with the size of the chickadee. So the TS246 or 247, I'll put it in the description, has this sculptured, contoured micarta handle where the 150 was G10. It has a full 3-finger grip, fantastic jimping, also is a long design, also is M390. This knife's gotten a ton of use. This knife was also under $50. It was about $45. I put in my Javon 10 code, saved 10%, and this knife was right around 42 bucks shipped to my door. And guys, I loved it. I set it up at first with an ulti clip, and then I settled on the strap because I carry these appendix right at the front here where my appendix is and let them ride kind of high. This knife cuts great. It carries great. It gives me a little bit more purchase than the 150, but it's either one of these knives I would recommend if you want to get into and see if a small EDC blade is going to fit your carry, because some of these knives that we're going to do some size comparisons to, I think are bigger than EDC knives. For example, the two knives I brought out for size comparison, one is on the large size. It's not too big, but it's the Bradford Guardian 3. And then the other one that's just the size out of where I did the cutoff for this small knife video is the Boker BFF. So the Boker BFF is a very small EDC fixed blade, but I had to have a gauge to go by or we could have gone on forever. So that's 6 inches, and I figured anything over 6 inches would not be considered a super small EDC, and I thought the Bradford Guardian would give you guys a good idea of how small indeed these knives are, but their functionality is fantastic. And this TwoSun does just as well, if not better, on several areas for the same price than the TS150. So moving on, we have yet another White Mountain Knives TwoSun. Guys, when you're looking at 43, 44 bucks when these come in stock, and you can add a code that saves you 10% and get free shipping, it's hard for me not to dive deeply. And that's what I did on some of these small TwoSun fixed blades. And I'm proud to tell you, none of my TwoSun $50 or less fixed blades have I regretted the purchase, and I carry all of them. This is the TwoSun TS something. I'll put it in there. What makes this one different is it is this kind of odd tanto with a deep hollow grind here in the main body of the blade, and this more stiff, flat up at the front, give you a little room to pry, to wedge. It's a very, I think, thick spine knife for the size that it is. It doesn't have a full handle. It has these little micarta scales that sit proud on top of the 14C 28N. But the jimping that's built into this finger choil make this just a really comfortable 3-finger knife. It's got a good slurpy saver point. It's got a very slicey edge and a slicey front. And I find that for EDC, an extra carry for my fixed blade and my slip joint, this little guy gets the job done. So moving on, so this video doesn't drone on forever, we come across my first purchase that fit this list from Amazon. And it's where I found the Essie Candura with scales. I'd seen the little Essie Candura skeletonized, not a huge fan, but when I saw this little knife, because I've got my Essie 3 that I love, it's a little bit bigger, but when I saw this little jewel with this thick little tool steel blade with this deep finish on it that's just powder coated, I had to order it. It was like 76 bucks when it came in. I was amazed at how the scales or the handles actually give you a full grip on this knife, allow you to get a full grip on this knife, where the TwoSun and some of the others have a much thinner handle stock. And that makes a difference when you're gripping the knife, when you're using the knife. This is one, it comes in a plastic sheath that locks in great. This is a knife I carry in my back pocket. I clip it to the outside of my back pocket, and it just draws that way. I can just pull it out, stick it back in. But I could set this up to carry appendix, but it is the thicker black sheath, and it does seem to work good as a back pocket dropper. But that's the Essie made in the USA Candura, and it's also a tiny little EDC knife that I think gets the job done. So moving on, we come to, alas, the final little TwoSun in my, I bought them all, guys. I think I bought every small EDC knife that White Mountain carried. And guys, when you go to their site and you look for these knives, they'll probably be out of stock. Do what I did. Put an email address in there. They will notify you when they come back in stock, and you won't miss out. This is the TwoSun Micro Mini is what it's called. It's also got a TS number, but when I put it in the description, it'll say Micro Mini plus the number. This little guy is an M390. It's a night morning design. It's also a deep hollow grind tanto with a flat front compound grind, smaller than the tanto we looked at just a second ago by quite a lot. Not really, but thinner. thinner handle. Um, Great knife. I've got this set up right now just as a simple pocket dropper. The retention's so good, I can literally just drop this in my pocket with my slip joint or drop it in my back pocket. And then when I take it out, I have to hold the sheath, unsheath it, put the sheath in my pocket, make my cut, take the sheath out, put it back in. So I could easily put this on a strap if I wanted to. I could easily put it on an ulti clip to do something a little different if I wanted to clip it inside my shirt. But there's just a lot of different ways you can carry these small knives. I've not even said neck knives, but neck knives work great for these little guys. But this is another very small EDC knife that was under 50 bucks that I really like. The next one's going to be a little bit stranger. It's going to be a little bit longer, but it's still very, very small. So when we look at, take the paracord out of the equation, you'll see that it's smaller than our TwoSun. And this is Baltic Blades Little Angus. It's a little field scalpel, urban EDC scalpel, made out of tool steel by a gentleman by the name of Paulius. Paulius works out of his garage and makes these little knives by hand. They go for around under $100. They come with paracord. They come in different finishes. I have been an absolute fanboy of these knives. I communicate now with Paulius on Instagram because he also makes some full-sized fixed blades. He hasn't made the little tiny ones that kind of bridge the gap between what he's doing with fixed blades and what he does with the Angus here. But if you get a chance, go to Baltic Blades on Instagram. Give Paulius a follow. That's the logo, Baltic Blades right there. And it's really just Paulius out in his garage in Lithuania making it happen. And these little skeletonized knives with the paracord are invisible. You don't know you have them on when you're wearing them, and they're up for the task. Moving on, we have a couple of knives here that are really the same knife, just in different blade steel. And I figured I'd show you a couple of different ways you can carry these. These are the MKM Micra 1 and Micra 2. The Micra 1 I've got in the Kydex sheath, which is an option. You can purchase this, or it comes with a leather sheath like the Micra 2's in, which you can use this little sheath and you can hook it, like you can't see my pocket, but you can use this as your pocket clip, turn it inside out, and have your knife able to draw that way, or you can do like me and just drop it down in your pocket. I've also got a Kydex sheath for this one because, in all honesty, guys, these knives are some of my favorite EDC fixed blades. They are perfectly balanced. If I grab these things and put my finger in that choil, they are balanced. And you'll notice that they both have jimping, but it's slightly in different places. That's because these are Jesper Voxnez designs, and they're designed for the blade type and where you're going to be putting that pressure on your finger when you make the cuts. Very well thought out knives. I have the carry kit for both of them that comes with the leather straps and the Kydex sheath and an ulti clip and a neck leather if you want to wear it as a neck knife. But I carry these guys right on my belt, right at my appendix. You don't even know that they're there. They weigh absolutely nothing, and they're a little hunk of M390. I think you can get these for right around $100. If you search, the macros are a little bit more expensive, like 140, but I want to say the micros, these two little guys, are right around 100, maybe $119. You can get them with a lot of different handle materials, but they're all M390, and they're both absolute bangers. I love these knives, love these knives, love these knives. These knives were probably my number one small, just go to EDC utility blade until my brother from another mother introduced me, and I'd be talking about E&G, and the G is for gangster, introduced me in this little Supra Hella. It's a superlative knives Hella. It's the Hella knife. And what the Hella is a nice little satin grind piece of M390 with this Mars carbon fiber scale that's screwed on. So it is just a little bit thicker than a skeletonized knife, but that doesn't detract me at all because the knife handles so well, whether it's pinch grips, whether it's regular grips, whether it's reverse cuts. This knife, I've been able to get into places to cut the what are the little cords, the little electrical cords that hold your cat collar down, zip ties. I've been able to get in and cut zip ties with this point. It's just been a great knife, and I really enjoy it. I like it because it's super light. I like it because it's elegant. I think it's a nice looking knife. I think it rides in my pocket very well. It only has a pocket dropper. This is a back pocket knife for me. It sits in my back pocket and the clip comes on the outside of my jeans or my khakis, and I just pull it that way. Probably going to get a little short lanyard for this when I get some lanyards, some paracord, and we'll go that route. But guys, to keep from going into the morning, we're going to finish with my two prized possession small EDC knives that I carry all the time. Um, I carry them because I love them. I carry them because they're made in the USA. I carry them because Jacob Ginsberg is a fantastic human being. He's the one who runs Jacob Creates. Um, he knows his stuff. He's very talkative. He's very open about what he's doing. He notifies me when he drops scales. Um, I picked this knife up from a community member, Brother Honey Bear, made this one available for me at a very, very fair price. This is an S90V. It came with some ivory G10 scales, but I was able to pick up these micarta scales from Jacob and just updated it. I've still got the G10 scales if I ever want to go back to ivory. And then I've got this 3/4 flat grind Magna Cut Jacob Creates Chickadee that I picked up from Brother Lefty when he was selling it. And I got Oak City sheaths with our options. Oak City sheaths are these little leather pocket dropper sheaths that you can use. And all the Jacob Creates knives come with a fantastic little Kydex sheath that really locks that knife in. And just like these other knives, there's no really better way to carry it and have it be out of your way than on your appendix. I think the only time you might find that on your appendix isn't the greatest thing in the world is if you're wearing khakis and you've got a shirt tucked in and you're at work, then maybe a pocket dropper is going to work better. But guys, that is what I could come up with as small. Now I've got a lot more EDC fixed blades we can go through, and we can categorize them a bunch of different ways till the cows come home. But these guys right here are the ones that really kind of started it all and made me realize that, yeah, there is something to this EDC fixed blade game that I think you, John, might appreciate. See if I can get any more of these in here. Like Paulius's little, there we go. We've got the little Angus up on top. But guys, thank you for watching the video. Let me know if these fixed blade content is boring, if you feel like you're seeing the same knives, if you're seeing too many knives at one time, if you'd like to break them down in smaller chunks and talk about them more in depth. There should be reviews on, I think, every one of these knives. But thank you again for coming. Thank you, channel members, for being so supportive. Thank you, viewers, for being interested in my content. And please, guys, all I ask is that you look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for that guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.